everyone, it's Jordan, and today I'm going to be talking about my March wrap-up and April TBR. I have a good reading month this month. I've read 9 books. It's crazy, and I have a few books on my TBR, but April's usually the busiest month for me because of finals coming up, so I have a small TBR, but I'm currently reading 4 books, which I'll explain later, so let's get started. Like I said, I've read 9 books in March. It's crazy, but the first book that I've read in March is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I finished like few pages of this and I loved it, and I just love how they Marissa Meyer took a classic fairy tale and make a sci-fi retelling of it. And plus, I just can't wait to continue with the series, and I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I've read is Princess in Waiting by May Cabot. This is the 4th book of the Princess Diaries series. I continue reading the series and I'm liking it, but I have a few issues with this book because I can't say it because of spoilers, but I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I've read in March is By Your Side by Casey West. I've finished reading it during my spring break, and I mentioned this in my vlog, and I'll link my vlog down below. And I loved By Your Side by Casey West. I can't wait to read more of Casey West books because they grab my interest, since a lot of people, I heard mixed things about her other books, but like her books before this one, but I definitely want to read more of her books because they, not only they're interesting, but I just love cute romance and contemporaries, and I give this book 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. The next book I've read in March is The Trial, and I forgot who it's by. I didn't like it at all because I just couldn't I read this for my Light and Darkness class in college, but I just could not, I did not understand like the plot of the story. It's like I did a small paper on it by like saying if this character was guilty or innocent. I just couldn't tell from what I've read in the book, so I give this 1 out of 5 stars. The next book I've read is King Lear by William Shakespeare. This is a William Shakespeare book that I haven't read before, but I enjoyed it. It's just some of the characters, I just know what some things were coming. I mean, in some of Shakespeare's plays are tragedies, and you just know that most of the characters will die, but I enjoyed it. It's just I gotta reread it again so I can actually understand the whole story, but I still enjoyed it. It's not much of an issue for me because, like, again, this was my first time reading it, and I love reading Shakespeare books, but this one I had to take my time with it to get used to the story, but those issues don't matter to me because I love Shakespeare's plays no matter what, and I give it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I've read in March is Do Androids Dream of an Electric Sheep? This is like a Blade Runner. I actually seen parts of the movie for our class, but apparently it's a dystopian world where humans get tested whether they're androids or actually human, and if humans get killed by mistaking with an android, people get in trouble for it. I just have trouble getting into the story with it as well. It's like, I mean, I love dystopia, nothing wrong with that. It's just the world just was so confusing to me that I just couldn't follow along with the story, but I gave this either 1 or 2 out of 5 stars. The next book I've read for class, lots of books I've read are for class, and the next one I've read is Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. I can't pronounce her last name, I'm sorry, but I've read this before actually. This is a reread for me. It's a graphic novel memoir about her experience during, I don't remember which war, but it was her experience when she was living in Iran, but it was one of those countries, so as you can see, it's a graphic novel. I just liked it because it's so different than any other memoirs that I've read before, and plus I've seen half of the movie because I didn't read the second part, so which I should probably get because it's about her and her adulthood. This is about her childhood, but I still enjoy the story and I give it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read in March was actually not a requirement. I actually finished it before, like, after my spring break, and I forgot to mention it because I usually, in my wrap-up and TBR videos, I start with the ones that I read for free time and then my classes, but I have to mention this anyway. And I've read Long May She Reign by Raina Thomas, and I honestly loved it, and I love Freya. She's just so different than any princess that queen that I've read in books. She's a scientist, and I just love how they made her different than any other royal characters. Plus, I loved it so much, and actually read this on audiobook, and I highly recommend this book, and I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. And the last book that I've read in March is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I actually had to read this twice. It's because I had to read it for 2 different literature classes, but the really ironic thing is I really enjoyed it. I'm not much of a horror fan, but I end up enjoying it because it's a classic, so I just couldn't help but enjoy the story so much. Plus, I just loved how, like, the monster's, like, begging, like, who he tries to be human when people treat him that he's not, and I give this 5 out of 5 stars. And now to my April TBR, and I'll be talking about the ones I'm currently reading. And the first one is The Princess Bride by William Goldman, and I'm halfway through, about halfway through it. I just couldn't tell, but I just took a break from it because I had other books in mind, but I want to jump right in this as soon as I'm done with this video. But I'm loving it so far. Like, I know there's a few differences between the book and the movie, but for me, I don't care because I've been a fan since I was 4 years old, as I mentioned in my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. But this has been one of my favorite movies of all time, and I wanted to read this physically because I've been read to in the 6th grade, but I never read it physically, but that's why I'm reading it right now, and I loved it. So I'm loving it so far, and I still love the story no matter what. The next one I'm currently reading is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I'm halfway through it, and I'm loving it so far. It's a dystopian world where you go to a virtual reality called the Oasis, and the original guy who created it died, and there's a contest to win his fortune by winning an Easter egg in his video game, and I'm just loving it so far. And plus, I'm reading it because the movie just came out. The day I'm recording it is its premiere date, so I'm halfway through it, and I want to finish it so bad that I want to finish it so I can go see the movie because I've seen a trailer so many times, and it looks awesome. So I'm hoping to finish it really soon because I want to see the movie, even though I want to see Avengers Infinity War as badly as any other Marvel fan. The next book I'm currently reading is Ink and Iron by Gwendolyn Clare. I actually got this in uppercase, and I'll link my unboxing down below. And this book's a historical fiction fantasy about this girl who can create a world by just a pen and paper, but then her world got destroyed, and her mother goes missing, and she has to search for her in late 1800s, I believe, in Italy. I know they mentioned in the first chapter 1881 or 91. So I just started reading it, so I'm loving it. I'm actually liking it so far. It's different than any other fantasy books that I've read before, so I'm definitely liking it so far. So hopefully I'll finish it in April, sometime in April. The next one I'm currently reading is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is the second book in the Luna Chronicles series, and I'm I just started, and I'm listening to this on audiobook, and I think so far I think the Lunar Chronicles is awesome on audiobook, and of course this is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, so, and it's just a second book, so I'm definitely liking it so far as much as the first one, so hopefully I'll finish it in April as well. And since April is the busiest month for me, I just saw like 2 more books that I'm hoping to get to in April, and the first one is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I've heard great things about the series, and plus I honestly like these new covers better than the original one because they're beautiful. Plus I honestly like the deer in the first one, and the second one is a snake, and the last one is a bird. But I'm been wanting to read a series since I've heard a lot of good things about it. Plus, and one of my friends have recommended to me, and I don't know. I don't remember who. I know she's a booktuber, but I'm pretty sure she says, like, you gotta read them, and plus I want to read the book, so I'm definitely, hopefully, gonna pick this up as soon as I'm done with the books I'm currently reading. And the last book on my April TBR is Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston, and I got this from Owl Crate. As you can see, it's an Owl Crate exclusive cover, and I'm also going to be linking my unboxing down below, and I love the purple spray edges. But this book's about is a sci-fi retelling of Anastasia, and actually I've read Geekerella by Ashley Poston, and I loved it, and hopefully I'll love this one as well. Especially it's a sci-fi retelling of Anastasia, and actually I've seen the movie once, and it kind of makes me want to watch the movie again before jumping into it. And I've been wanting to read more sci-fi lately. Like, I know there's a dystopian book in my TBR pile, but I count that as science fiction because it's a type of science fiction novel. So I've been reading a lot of fantasy and sci-fi lately this year, but I'm hoping to jump this right in April as well. So that's all for my March wrap-up and April TBR, and if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and comment down below your TBR for April, because I'm really curious. Plus, once I get to done with my current reads, let me know which the 2 books I mentioned I should read first, so I would know. And if you want to follow me on social media, I have Facebook under Last Reader, and I have Twitter and Instagram on Last Reader 19, and follow me on Goodreads, because you probably would know how, like, I'm almost halfway through my Goodreads goal already, which is crazy for me, but I'm definitely happy about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!